The time is here. It is the reset, and we got Brandon Mebane is going to come and give you Bane's breakdowns of the last preseason game. Hint, he does like this new Seahawks defense. And also, we got to talk about the last preseason game that's going to be coming up on Saturday night against the Cleveland Browns. Let's get to it.
It's the reset with G. Scott.
Bane, my boy, I see you representing your Crenshaw, man.
Yes, sir. We blue and gold. This black and gold. This is just another alternate, just a different color. Not an alternate color. It's just different shirt, man. But yeah, man, it's Crenshaw, man. That's where it started at.
Bane, thank you for joining us, man. Look, I know we're going to get to Bane's breakdown here in a sec. This is where you took 3 plays from the last preseason game on defense.
Right.
But before I get to that, me and some of my partners was having a conversation about the Hall of Fame, right? And so I thought, you know what? This would be a good time to ask Brandon Mebane something. So, Bane, give us your thoughts on this. Give us one player that you have seen or watched film of over the years that played for the Seattle Seahawks that's not in the Hall of Fame but should be.
I think the one person that's for sure that, I didn't have the pleasure of playing with, but I know him very well, the one and only Jacob Green, Red Bryant's father-in-law. My opinion, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame because if we just going off of numbers, and I know everybody goes off of numbers, which in football, everybody on the field, on the defensive side of the ball, for sure it's not going to be able to get numbers, right? If we're talking about numbers.
Right.
But if you look at his numbers, he has, in 13 years, he has a total of 115 sacks. He's the all-time sack leader in Seahawks history, right? And if you look at like the seasons he had, it's been he only got, from what I see, he got 2 Pro Bowls. He got a Rookie of the Year. From looking at his numbers, I think he should have, in 13 years, he should at least got 7 Pro Bowls, at least 7 Pro Bowls. That might be, you should probably say 8 or 9. But in 13 years, he should have at least 7 Pro Bowls. And, if you have all that, I feel like, yeah, you should definitely be in the Hall of Fame, especially with 115 sacks. Yeah.
I would assume over the years you've got a chance to watch some of his film. He a dog, huh?
I think the one guy that if you look at him, how he played it like today would be like Myles Garrett. If you watch some of his highlights, he plays, or Myles Garrett plays like him because he's older.
Right.
He was monster, man.
All right. Well, man, look, it's time for Bane's breakdown. You had an opportunity to go over the film and check the all 22. First of all, let's talk about what you saw. I see you got 3 plays for us. What's the first? What are we looking at here first?
Okay, right here we got 12 personnel. Okay, when I say 12 personnel, we count the 2 tight ends on the line of scrimmage. We got 88 and 89.
Okay.
Excuse me. So before this play started, number 88, right? He's going to do what I made this one up. We call it a full your motion, right?
Okay.
Where he motioned halfway and then he's going to come back. And his first initial block, he wasn't supposed to block number 58 right here. He wasn't supposed to block him, but his job is to hit the first color that he sees. Okay. So what they want to do is they want to use him as kind of like a tight end / fullback. He's like the lead blocker on this play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of teams don't have nowadays, they don't have a fullback, right? So what they're using tight ends as fullbacks, right?
Right.
The interior D tackles, they did a great job of playing on the line of scrimmage, not getting knocked back, knocking them back. But the player that made the difference on this play is number 58.
That's Derek Hall, baby.
58.
That's Derek Hall, baby.
Hey, man, he a monster, man. If you look at him on this play, if you watch him, he get caught inside.
Okay.
He get caught inside, and I think I might be wrong, but I think he has a two-way go on this play to where he could play. He could play inside or outside depending on where the flow of the ball is going. He gets caught inside by 89. He get double teamed. He takes two blockers on, and he finds a way to get outside and make this play. I think this is an awesome play by number 58. That was a good play by him.
Shout out to Derek Hall. Okay, so play number one,
Yeah.
you got that breakdown. Okay, here's play number two.
Right.
What we got here, brother?
So play number 2 right here, we got 11 personnel. Okay, right here, beginning of this play. Go back.
Okay.
That's the last.
Go back.
play.
Go back. Okay.
That's the last play we're gonna break down.
Okay.
So we got 11 personnel right here. Just pause it.
Okay.
So this play right here, both the interior D tackles are going to get double, right?
Okay.
And we call this a crunch play. I don't know if they still call it that, right? So with this running back, what he's looking at this B gap right here. The B gap is between number 70 and 72.
Okay.
Number 31, his first read is he want to run in between the B gap, and if the B gap is not there, he want to go back to this A gap right here between. I can't see the center number, but everybody know what the center is on this play, obviously. And they want to run between the center and his guard right here, number 73, I think, or 79.
Okay.
So he want to go B gap, A gap. And what I think right here, of this play right here, who does a great job, like I said, the interior D tackles, they hold the double team very, very well, right?
Because if
And
they
I
don't
think
if they don't hold that double team, the whole play break is not successful. Am I right?
So if they don't hold this play on this double team, what they want to do is they want to work their way. They stand on a double, which they're
Okay.
doing, and they want to work their way to the linebackers. Once they work their way to the linebackers and put the D tackles in the linebackers' lap, then it's 2-on-2 instead of 2-on-1 right now, right?
Okay.
So if you look at this guard right here, he was trying to work his way up to the linebacker that made the play, but he couldn't get him, right? Because they did an excellent job. The interior D tackles did an excellent job of holding their gap and staying square.
Okay.
Right?
So number 48, who is, by the way, Tyrese Knight. I think
Right.
he's a diamond in the rough. He is a dog. Real quick though, Bang, how does Tyrese Knight recognize? Because it seems like he recognizes where this is going. How does he do that?
I think for what I'm seeing is he's looking at a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on in his mind, right?
Okay.
So what he's looking at first is this. He's looking at the flow of the line of scrimmage, right?
Okay.
But I think another thing what he looked at too is he looked at the motion. He looked at the motion first. He seen the motion.
Okay.
Then he looked at the flow of the line of scrimmage. He seen both his D tackles were getting doubled and right in front of him. So
Okay.
that was a clue. Bam, those two things. And I think another thing what he looked at too was he looked at the running back. Once he looked at the running back shoulders and he seen the running back shoulders wouldn't turn towards the sideline, he knew that this guy's shoulders were square enough to where he was squaring up to where he was going to cut back.
Oh, go back.
That was his thing.
Go back. You teaching us something here. Hold on. So you mean to tell me that sometimes that you guys read shoulders?
Yeah, shoulder turns. So you look at
Stop
the
right there,
shoulders of the
boom.
running back.
Okay.
So the shoulders of the running back right here, you got to go just a little bit because you can't really tell right now.
Okay.
But if the shoulders of the running back was turned more towards the sideline, that running back he's not cutting back. But if his shoulders is staying like this,
Yes.
right here, just like that,
Yeah.
oh, he's looking at two gaps. He got his eye on one gap, and then he got his eye on like, okay, I got to back up. It's just what it is. It's just it's an A plan and it's the B plan. That's all it is.
So what do you think about 48 Tyrese Knight?
Man, I think he came downhill so fast, so quick in a hurry to where if you a D tackle, a nose or a 3 technique, you actually love taking on double teams because you got a guy behind you that's gonna come downhill. He either gonna get the offensive lineman off you, or he gonna make a play like this. So, that's 2 thumbs up right there, having linebackers like that play behind you.
All right, Bang, we got the final play, your third play that you
Right.
like. It seems like you having love for the linebackers, but we'll get to that in a minute. What do you
Right.
see on this play? First, pre-snap. Let's go back to it. Let's go pre-snap.
Okay.
Okay, stop right there. Here we
All
go.
right, right here. So right here, so the defense is in the odd front. So they got 3 down linemen, right? You can't see the other end. He's real wide outside of 88, tight end right here on the line of scrimmage. You got 2 linebackers. One is threatening the A gap and one is threatening the B gap. Then you got an end and you got the D tackle lined up head up in a 4 technique over number 71, right? So we call this a odd front. It's a little tricky, a little freaky. They trying to mess with the protection of the offensive line.
Okay.
And let's see, let's play it. So right here, number 53, you look at him first. He's a linebacker, right? If I'm not mistaken, he blitzed the B gap. And it looked like they were running a natural game right here. We call this a T stunt, to where the tackle go first, or they call it a LE front. The linebacker go first and the end comes around. So they got a little game going on right here. And so right here, number 91, his job is to do this, right? Since they running the game over there, and you know that you have a quarterback that likes to scramble right up the middle. That's usually the escape point of a dual threat quarterback, right? So his job is to get in the middle of the line of scrimmage, pretty much take on the double team, press the pocket so he can't step up in the pocket. And their job is they want to collapse the pocket. So I think number 91 does a great job. He takes the double team. They give a hand to his face.
Shout out to your young bull, Byron Murphy, who
Yeah,
you
man.
like him.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, man. He's got a lot to learn still. He's growing. He got everything that you need, that you want in the defensive tackle, right? Number 58 right here.
Okay, let's
He
go
has
back.
a one-on-one with number 71.
Okay.
He bull rushed him right into the quarterback lap. But what I want to say right here is this. A lot of times when, we talked about Jacob, how he had all those sacks and stuff like that, and how one guy can make a tackle. I think the great thing about playing on a football team is that when you make a play, one guy get the credit for, or maybe two. The great thing about it is everybody does their job correctly. That one play get made because of everybody's doing their job, right? But one guy gets the credit, or maybe two. But who makes the play gets a sack on this, and number 58, man. He did an awesome job keeping him in the pocket. They collapsed the pocket, and they got the sack and got him down on the 3rd down. It was excellent.
All right. Bane, so first of all, I love Bane's breakdowns. This is going to be a thing on the show, Bane's breakdowns. You cut down the last preseason game. You picked those 3, and I noticed 58. Shout out to my man, Derek Hall. Derek Hall, last season, we kind of wondered what's going to happen. It seems like, it feels like he's doing his thing. Right now, I noticed you've been showing the linebackers. What are you seeing from this Seahawks linebacker core?
Oh man, I'm seeing them. They scraping real fast. They're playing very aggressive. They playing like how they played in the past. I know that the head coach, that's his specialty, is the linebacker group. So yeah, I'm seeing some great play from him, man. Up front, I can't evaluate DBs. I don't do coverages like that. I know 1, 2, and 3, but I can't tell you how to play it like that. But it's all good.
I mean, well, here's the most important thing, and you taught me this: games are won and lost in the trenches.
Up front. Oh yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
That's where it is, And so when so I want to ask you this: the Seahawks, the last 2 seasons, have ranked 30 and 31, unfortunately, against the run.
Right.
With what you see so far, they should at least be better than that.
I think definitely they're going to definitely improve. Yeah, I mean, when you're at the bottom, your focus is to try to, go back, get back up top. So, yeah, I from what I've seen from the that I don't think they played any of their starters, but from what I'm seeing, they definitely going to make a lot of improvements. The future is bright.
Yeah.
For them.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we go, appreciate Bane's breakdowns. Before we go, man, I want to make it a habit to get, because you have so many stories. So I want to try
Right.
to at least get one story out of you before we go each time. So here's a question for you. Who
Yep.
is the best offensive lineman that you have ever played against? No, I take that back. Who's the strongest? Who's the strongest offensive lineman that you've ever played against in your career?
Oh, that's hands down easy. It was I was telling my nanny this morning, Larry Allen, right? I remember when I was in like the 6th grade, and he was playing for the Cowboys when I was like in the 6th or 7th grade.
Right.
And I remember the commentators was talking about him then, and that was probably like maybe his rookie year then, right? And here I come, fast forward 2007, my rookie year. Here, Larry Allen on the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm
Okay.
like, oh my God, right? So the first time I played against him, we were at San Francisco, right?
Okay.
And I line up, and here he go. He got, he had that little bull ring in front of his, his face mask. He had some dip in his mouth. He was spitting, as he was in the huddle. And he, was a wide, strong dude, right? So
Right.
we line up, and it was a pass play, and he punches me in my chest. And after the play, I said, "Oh, can I cuss on there?"
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I said, "Oh, right." Hit me in my chest, and I was like, "Damn, right?" Like, I ain't never been hit in my chest like that, even in practice.
Right.
And so he seen that I did that, and he started laughing like he was a mutant on X-Men Apocalypse. And it was 2 villains on X-Men that I was, when I was young, I used to watch X-Men, the cartoons, pretty much kind of still do. And it was two villains on X-Men that we was all pretty much intimidated of. Was like, man, they got to get him. It was Apocalypse and Senator.
Okay.
And he laughed like Apocalypse, and I was like, damn, this dude might really be a mutant, right? And so, yeah, he hit me, man. And then we played him. So I was like, okay, I played a lot of games. We played them later in the year, my rookie year, right? We had in Seattle. And so during that game, I'm like, man, I was like, man, I'm just gonna try to go through him.
Hey,
So
be honest. Hey, was you scared of him, Bane? Tell the truth.
I mean, it wasn't like scare, it was more like respect. It was like, dang, like
we talking about Larry Allen.
Man, that dude was strong, man.
Yeah.
So I'm lined up at 3 technique because back then we used to slide the front depending on where the strength of the formation was. So
yeah,
Rocky was next to me. Rocky Bernard was next to me, and he was on the shade on the center, and I was a 3 technique. And so they ran the ball, and it was supposed to be a double team, but Larry Allen hit me before the tackle got there. So he threw his forearm.
Yeah.
Boom, and hit me like in my chest. And I'm trying to like get off the ball and give my all. I knew the double team was coming, everything. And bam, he hit me. And I end up like in the air off my feet. And I was going back like this, right? And I was like, no, right? And I was like, man, got back and try to anchor and fight, do what I got to do, right? And I was like, dang, right? And so this is the one right here to where I'm like, and you can watch this on film. Yeah, I'm not making this up.
Okay.
So we at goal line. It's 4th and goal, right? They going for it on 4th down. They got Frank Gore and the dot back lined up. They got a fullback back there. I forgot his name. And I'm lined up on Larry Allen and 3 technique and goal line. So we had a 3 technique, a head up alignment on the center, Rocky, and Craig Terrell was in the other 3 technique on the other side, other guard, right? So Larry Allen come to the line of scrimmage, get on all 4s, man. Both his arms on the ground. One arm looked like my thighs, right? So I'm like, damn, I knew I can't go through him. I'm thinking in my head, I can't go through him. I know Frank Gore is coming over here, so I'm like, damn, all right, what I'm gonna do, right? So Kevin Bentley, Lofa Tupu's behind me, and Leroy Hill, right? And
Yeah.
then on the outside was Julius Peterson was outside, and I forgot what else, who other. I think that was all the linebackers, right? So all them dudes is behind me, right? And I'm like, damn, I can't let these dudes down, right? I know Larry Allen about to try to pick me up and throw me in the stands. So quarterback hiked the ball. This is what I did, right? I'm in the B gap. I grab Larry Allen's arm and I hug it and I pull him to the B gap, right? And I'm like, bro, you coming with me? And because I knew he was gonna like just take me and throw me in the stands. So I grabbed his one arm and I hugged it and I pulled him in the B gap and he came with me, right? And so Lofa, Kevin Bentley, Leroy, they all flew in an A gap, came downhill so fast. Tackle for loss, man, and they didn't get the touchdown. We get the ball back on the 1 or 2 yard line, and I'm celebrating, man. Like, whew, I escaped that one. That was, man. I felt like if every guard in the NFL, center was in the field, that was that strength, I wouldn't have made it, man.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Bang. We love these stories, man. We got to do this again, my boy.
Yes, sir, man. Let's do it.
All right. Love for you, man. Appreciate you. Talk soon.
All right. Holla at you.
It's the last preseason game that's getting ready to happen. It's going to be going down Saturday night against the Cleveland Browns. Now, the question is, as I get ready to ask my producers and all of you out there, should the starters play at all? There's one trend that I'm starting to see across the NFL. There's a lot of people that's not playing their starters. Well, except for Andy Reid. And you can't question Andy Reid because Andy Reid has this thing where he's like, no, it ain't going to happen, Captain. My starters are going to play. I'll never question Andy Reid. However, anybody outside of Andy Reid, don't play the starters. This weekend, I don't want to see the starters out there. I got my boys right here. I got Paul Holden here. Frank is here. And, of course, my main man, Bones. Bones, you got a lady yet?
No, still no lady, still no drip.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Frank, let's start with you, man. What you want to see this preseason? Talk to me.
I just want to make the case. I'm actually would like to see some of the starters, mainly on the defensive side, and I just want to see them for 1 drive, 2 drives max. I want to see them suffocate and kill whatever Cleveland offense there is. I actually think there's a really good chance we could undermine and derail their season before it even starts because Deshaun Watson's going to make his debut. If he looks absolutely lousy like every quarterback has looked facing this Macdonald defense so far, we could really cause some issues.
Paul, you bought in, man. Wait, real quick, because Mebane just talked about this defense. Paul, are you bought in on the preseason, 2 preseason games that you've seen out of this Seahawks defense?
A little bit. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the pass rush, but my thing is, especially with defense and especially with things it's the 2s, it's the 3s. But Bane really broke it down for us really, really well, and you'll see on film, you're seeing that they're taking on the double teams. I think it was something that was really impressive to see in that breakdown as well, and people really flying and hitting the gaps. You can tell that this is a high energy team, and G, you point this out too. The big question and the big difference maker, I think, and the big thing to watch in this finale, how are they going to handle the run? If that's not the biggest improvement the Seahawks defense needs this season, then I don't really know what is.
Brady, I don't care if it is preseason. You understand me? I told y'all before, I'll say it again. I fall in love real fast. I'm already in love with Mike Macdonald. I'm in love with this defense. I don't care if they play your mama, your auntie, your daddy. The fact of what we have seen a suffocating defense. Brady, this 3rd preseason game, is there anything that you want to see? Talk to me.
What I want to see is kind of like some of what I've been seeing is like I see preseason games as almost like an extended tryout. You're on the team, but you're not guaranteed a roster spot outside of course, select few that we know that are the main starters. But I love seeing the extended tryout because you see everything from the players at that point. Like there's no security, there's no reassurance that I'm going to be here in 2 weeks. I could get cut right here, right now. I felt the same way when I played college baseball. It's like every situation is one where I'm going to rip your head off. Like, I'm going full send every single time. It could cost me my body, but if I don't make this team, it could cost me my career.
I like that. And I'll tell you what I want to see this Saturday night. I want to see how they're going to do with George Halani, running back, Boise State. Now, I told y'all before. I told y'all at the beginning of the season. I said, pay attention to George. I had some people try to tell me, oh, I don't know about this George Halani. I told you, if it wasn't for the kind of some injuries, the dude would have been drafted. The Seahawks got a steal by finding this guy undrafted. You notice, I remember being out at training camp, Frank. I was out at training camp. He wasn't really getting the reps. Soon as them pads came on, boom, 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 boom. You start to see him climb. I haven't really been seeing Charbonnet. I don't know what's going on with Charbonnet. But right now, George Halani, that is the guy. And I noticed, and you noticed, he only got like 2 carries in the last game against the Titans. So what does that say? Have they seen enough? Will George Halani make this team? So what should they do, Frank? Should they play George Halani out there, or have they seen enough and let him chill and let Kenny McIntosh get out there and get down?
I want to see more of the defense. I don't really care about seeing much of the offense at all. I think the offense can be packed up and ready for week 1. Let's just hide everything Grubb is planning with this rotation of running backs. The only thing I really care to see is a little bit more of a work of the offensive line. So I think let's just save him. Let's just see what we have.
So whoa. You guys are sold on the offense already? Everybody's sold on the Seahawks offense?
Well, sold isn't the right word. The idea is we're running it back with the same crew, new offensive coordinator, new coach. That's all that matters. And we're not going to see any of the tricks or anything like that in preseason. So what we're going to see from Grubb against Denver week 1, that's when we're like, oh, wow, Jason's doing a lot of motion. Oh, wow, Charbonnet's actually going out and receiving a lot of balls. Oh, wow, we're actually using tight ends dynamically. I don't think we're going to see a lot in that preseason. I'd rather just have that all boxed up and saved, and then we'll worry about that later. I'm much more curious about the actual defense than the offense. But the question is, with Halani, who you're a big fan of, it's been the McIntosh show this preseason.
It has. It has been a lot of that. And speaking of this preseason game, Paul, we talked about the wide receiver position, and we talked about probably them keeping 6. We all know that DK Metcalf, that's locked. That's number 1. Jackson Smith and Jigba, that's number 2, locked. The next one you got is Tyler Lockett, 3, locked. Jake Bobo, number 4, locked.
Antonio Brown's best friend.
Now, when you start talking about 5 and 6, who's going to get those spots? Now, there's conversation. What about D. Estridge? There's conversation. What about Laviska Shenault? There's conversation. What about Derek Young? There's conversation. What about Aesop Winston Jr.? Well, you guys want to go in. I know you guys weigh in the comments, and make sure you subscribe. Weigh in. That 4th and 5th spot. Who wants to take this first right here? Paul, you want to take it? What you got?
I mostly want to focus on Bobo. I got Bobo fever if I'm being totally honest. I think that and this is directly because of you actually. I think he's an explosive guy that can add some serious depth and fly under the radar and take some pressure away from some of these guys. It's going to be really interesting to see, and maybe this isn't a question for you all as well. What role does Tyler Lockett play this year? Where is he at right now? There's a lot of talk of DK Metcalf and just going with fantasy. I had Tyler Lockett last year as a fantasy owner, and it's not. And I always was confident starting him until the end of the season, where things were kind of up and down with the Seahawks. So I'm kind of wondering if it's more, instead of the young guys to watch out for, it's what is Lockett's role really going to be with this team? But in terms of the young guys, I think Bobo's really exciting, and I think the jury's still out. 4th, 5th receiver, you're kind of splitting hairs, but that's exactly what this final preseason game is for, right? This is the moment to say, I deserve that spot. So we'll see who it does, but I'm watching Bobo and Lockett this year, G.
Frank, does this go ahead. What you got?
I got a quick answer for the Tyler Lockett role for you, Paul.
I didn't really want to talk about this.
I'm going to use the Broncos. I don't think we're going to have a 55 touchdown, 5,500-yard passing season. He's going to be Wes Welker for the Broncos.
And you're okay with that, right? I mean, I don't think you're mad with a reliable vet.
7,000 yards. He's gonna go down before he gets hit. He's going to be the third option because Jason's going to have big year 2 and DK is going to be our guy. And yeah, he's going to have about, I would say, 800 to 900 yards, 4 to 6 touchdowns, and just be, once again, really reliable. Is he going to, be our third down guy? That's where I see him.
Are you skipping him in fantasy this year?
Are you picking Tyler Lockett in fantasy?
No, I'm taking JSN in fantasy.
Okay.
Because I'm getting the value on JSN's
Okay,
unbelievable.
well, let me just go ahead and answer. Let me tell you how I wish it would go down, and I'm going to tell you how I think it's going to go down for the 5th and 6th spot. I gave you the 4 locks. Let me go over it again. DK, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, Bobo. Those are your 4 locks. It should go Derek Young, 5, and Aesop Winston Jr. That's what it should go. What does my heart say? My heart say that the 5th and 6th spot will be Derek Young and Laviska Shenault Jr. Yeah. And why am I giving Laviska Shenault Jr. the 6th and final spot? Kickoff rules. Laviska, special teams. Derek Young, special teams.
We haven't even talked about that.
I love Aesop Winston Jr. I mean, when I tell you I love him, I love him. But I think he's going to get beat out by Laviska Shenault Jr. because of the kickoff rules.
And then he's going to get swept up on some other team, not play for like 5 weeks, and like week 6 just have an awesome game. We're all going to be like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now, as we talk about this season, and we talk about we're coming up, regular season is coming soon against Paul Stanky Broncos. There's one conversation that's been had all over social media. It's being had, and so I'm going to get my chance to weigh in on it. It is the Geno Smith, Sam Howell conversation. And everybody's picking and choosing. I told you all before, the backup quarterback is always the most coveted position out there. Everybody always wants to say, but what about, and what about when it comes to that? So I'm going to answer this right now. As of right now, Geno Smith is the starter. No doubt about it. There is no yeah, buts, or anything. There is a conversation that Geno Smith wants to get an extension. To which I say, hell no. No. You signed a contract. That's just how it's going to be. Now, you don't get the extension. I realize there's a bunch of quarterbacks out there making $40, $50 million. No, not at this time. This season is going to be on the shoulders, in the back of Geno Smith. How Geno Smith does this season will be how the Seahawks go. So if that means that contract discussion is kind of looming, I don't know. But at the end of the day, there's 32 teams that's trying to fight to win the Super Bowl. And every little bit matters. So, and as far as Sam Howell's concerned, I think Sam Howell started off terrible to start the season. Terrible in training camp. But boy, I tell you right now, he's like Allen Iverson. Practice. Who cares about practice? That dude's in the game, and I think Sam Howell's a gamer. So the good news is the Seahawks have a good backup quarterback. Now, let me ask the producers their thoughts on that. By the way, I know I was a little bit harsh on the extension, but I don't apologize, and I'm going to say what I say. No on the extension. Frank?
Yeah, it's an interesting debate that's going on. Sam Howell has put together 2 quality starts in the preseason, and now people are like, I've seen enough, let's make him our starter. I think we have 2 different conversations of, can Sam Howell compete with Geno Smith? No. Is Geno Smith our long-term solution at quarterback? That we don't know, and I think you can ask both questions, but let's not get it crossed. Mac Jones leads the preseason in passer rating this year. So, preseason can only tell you so much. Preseason, for me, has always been more about, hey, look at Byron Murphy take on this double team. Hey, look at Christian Haynes hold his ground here. I'm not really trying to get into the quarterback debate. Do we remember last year Kenny Pickett for the Steelers?
Yep.
158.3 passer rating, 13 for 15. Guy didn't miss a throw. The guy couldn't stave off Mason Rudolph for the job. I mean, There's just some things about Sam Howell that really frustrate me and that really show me he's a backup. So I'm not really looking at him being anywhere competitive for the job. But I do think this does outline a question for Seahawks fans that they value the quarterback position. Duh, you should in the sport. And that there's still some indecision. Like, we really don't know. This is a rubber match year for Geno. And
You know what I think? This is what I tell you what I think. I think Seahawks fans, it's like a relationship. You might meet somebody and you might go out on a date and you might kick it with them through the summer, right? 2024, you want to go to boat parties, you want to go to Crescent Bar out there for Labor Day, you want to do all those things. But for some reason, I think in my heart of hearts, and the reason why we having this conversation on social media about Geno Smith and Sam Howell, you want to know why? A lot of y'all are not committed to Geno. A lot of y'all don't see a relationship, long-term relationship with Geno. That's why we in this situation. Y'all want to kick it for the season. Y'all want to kick it until things get going. But some of y'all, if I ask y'all right now, do you see Geno as long-term? Some of y'all say, no, y'all ain't ready for that relationship. Now, what do you got there on this conversation there, Brother Bones?
I'm happy you tossed it to me after we're talking about long distance and long-term relationships, which I am not the best person to talk on that, but I'll keep going nonetheless. Don't matter. I think it's a great problem to have two great quarterbacks on your team. One is a backup, being Sam Howell, one being the starter with Geno Smith. When I've seen in the preseason games, yeah, Sam Howell doing decent. He's not playing against the ones. He's not also with the one receivers that we have on this team. You see it maybe a little bit in practice, but you haven't seen it really as much in the games. Geno's been the solidified position as our starter since day one of this training camp season through the preseason. Not the biggest guy on contract talks, especially when it's like you didn't really get too far last year. This is a prove-it year. You do something great, take us deep in the postseason, maybe we'll talk about a pretty juicy contract for you.
I mean, this is something I want to just add on that real quick.
You always going to that damn computer.
Yeah, always. So there's a contract bonuses for Geno. So this might reveal what they're expecting from him in order to see him as a multi-year down the line. $2 million contract bonus for surpassing 4,280 passing yards.
Okay.
30 touchdowns, 70% completion, a passer rating of 101, 9 wins or a playoff berth. $2 million for each of those.
$2 million for each of those?
So was that $8 mil total? Or
10.
10 mil?
Yeah,
okay.
$10 million that you can do. But that's what they want. They want a 30-touchdown quarterback. They want a quarterback that can guide this young, up-and-coming roster to the playoffs. They want him to complete 70% of his passes, which was a real strength of his in 2022, not 2023 as much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, good. Hey, make sure you guys subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast. I'm going to see a lot of you all on Saturday night. That's right. Lumen Field's going to be rocking preseason. Catch me down on the beginning of the game, before the game starts. I'll be making a few announcements. And also check me out and go ahead. We got to come down to it. Ticketmaster Tailgate, baby. I'll be hosting right there pregame. Also, here's the goal. We're about to get to 3,000 subscribers, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a little something out of my hat. I got to pull something out of my hat. It's time for me to maybe pull some regular season tickets out of my bag right there. Maybe we can see about the home opener against Paul's Stanky Broncos. That's what's going to happen. Stanky Broncos, that home opener. So let's get to 3,000. Make sure you share it. Share this. All right? Subscribe. Bing! Hit that. All right. Now it's time for X's and O's. It's another edition of the X's and O's. Today I want to talk about this. When you slow down, that's when you find the answer. I just got back from a trip to Hawaii, and everybody talks about how amazing that place is. And it was my first time over there, and I figured it out. It's not necessarily the island, it's the people. And what I mean by that is there's something about the culture over in Hawaii that is slower pace. It's chill. It's chill, bruh. And while over there, I noticed a lot of answers were coming to me. To which when I come back here on the mainland, a lot of us are too busy. We're going through life. And a lot of times you don't take time for yourself. Slow down. Slow down. Take a breather. Take a breath. Find the answer. It's once you slow down, you will find the answer. Hey, I appreciate you rocking with me. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.